Hi there, I'm just this side. Today I'm gonna do a video presentation with my other team members. They are Kajal, Dwanivin, and Arpin Kumar. So we all are gonna do group video presentation on the topic rethinking IT professional ethics in terms of classical and current contexts. So for my part, I'm gonna start with introduction. So as we all know, the IT systems of the past implemented accountable processes. They all are designed to automate internal business tasks through the basic rule-based artificial intelligence systems. But now the move towards the AI implementation involved transforming transparent rule-based technology into the deep learning systems that operate in a non-transparent fashion. As about robot debt case, Robodebt case in Australia, it highlights the problem when its faulty system created errors, which leads to the debt notices for one-fifth of the cases that harmed people. So we can say the current situation requires IT ethics to develop new ways of handling accountability within digitally complex and open systems. So now in this slide, I'm going to tell you about the responsibility for user interface issues. As we all know, the user interface difficulties primarily rest with deployment managers because the field lacks an ethical code of conduct for all the practitioners. Most organizations maintain ethical statements that prioritize business protection above the user rights safeguards. Public Service Department accountability flows directly from the Westminster system leaders, so the political leaders can be explicitly held responsible. The main drivers in for-profit businesses are survival and financial outcomes, which provide obvious ethical indicators, yet result in less transparent accountability. Private enterprises place organizational risk in higher priority than the individual protection, which complicates the ethical handling of the technical deployment issues. Next, I'm going to shed light on the challenges in ethical accountability chains. Developments in complex IT systems make the original designers divorced from the field implementers and programmers who built them. The passage of the time between the developers and the deployers allows ethical intentions to disappear completely. Through the historical development, IT ethics protected organizations more than it protected individual users. So the 1999 EC survey demonstrates how deeply established the avoidance of risk has become as a classical approach to IT professional ethics. So we can say the established frameworks choose to concentrate on a firm-wide liability reduction instead of creating systems which hold the users responsible. The current situation creates the barriers to maintaining ethical consistency, therefore demonstrates the immediate need for today's ethical reforms. So now for this slide, it's about the current IT ethical landscape. As we all know, the IT infrastructure extends throughout all the business sectors because it has expanded past closed corporate boundaries. Contemporary systems function as deciders in addition to data processors, which generates the intricate matters regarding the ethical considerations. The Australia-based robotic program, of which I have already told in the introduction part, the Australia-based robotic program exposed these safety risks through the faulty algorithms that generated substantial distress among the population. We can say the modern ethical situations require organizations to look past traditional frameworks by assessing system effects during the decision-making processes post-implementation. So we can say the IT professionals need their ethical standards to adapt because their impact on societal results extends beyond generating technical results. So this is all about my part. Now my friend Kajal, she's gonna explain more. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kajal. Now I will do the further explanation. So this slide is about responsibility and professional ethics expansion. The development of contemporary computing technology produces extended technological networks beginning with design and extending to deployment, which complicates the ability to detect responsibility for ethical standards. The rise of machine learning and decrease of human involvement in system operations creates barriers for transmitting concerns. The duty of IT professionals include identifying potential problems during system development which minimize damage to systems. The proactively ethical approach brings better results to organization and community members while showing that ethical principles must become integral to each stage of system development. So this slide is all about individual centered IT ethics. The current IT sector uses whistleblowing only as option because implementing ethical resolution procedures internally can stop problems from becoming public. The IT profession is now actively investigating virtue ethical models because these models emphasize moral accountability for people rather than standing operating procedures. The primary objective of virtue ethics includes preparing people to make ethical decisions because IT ethics extend over many distinct practices and perspectives. It failed to achieve maximum effectiveness when its focus remains diffuse. The evolution of ethical framework tools will provide tools to handle growing social influence through responsible proactive activities. So for this slide, we will get to learn about governance issues in IT and society. IT governance and social structures are not able to keep up with current technological developments. Contemporary computing integrates with various aspects of technical systems and business operations and daily activities, thus enabling multiple dangerous misuse scenarios. The shift of risk assessment responsibility has happened from organizational systems to IT practitioners working individually. User anger toward restricted MyGov systems proves how poor system governments impact users' negativity proves through design mistakes. Speedy evolution of professional ethics standards should promote IT professionals to take actions, stewardship during development and implementing. So now we will learn about shifting ethics and whistleblower challenges. The protection of IT workers, ethical rights advances at a slow pace towards completion. The new whistleblower regulations focus solely on protecting private sector employees but include vital personnel from private and public sectors. The process of outsourcing creates major uncertainty about which organization bears responsibility after an ethical violation takes place. The growing number of surveillance rules remove fundamental confidentiality that exposes both whistleblowers and journalists to enhanced risk. The use of ICT to track all forms of communications has escalated the potential consequences. The new developments create obstacles for IT professionals who witness problems because they lack appropriate venues to report their findings.
Hello everyone, my name is Ben. Now let's shift our focus to the evolving landscape of ethical frameworks in IT and how whistleblowers face unique challenges in navigating these changes. Modern ICT functions as the central driver behind all key communication and the public service operations. Extensive databases joined by connected systems have simplified the ability to identify people proactively. New ethical risk generates through the biometric data processing linkages and the artificial intelligence decision making system remain undisclosed to affected people, so that we can say that people cannot recognize or challenge hidden decisions that control their lives. So the system developers in the IT field face the limited ethical support and the protection while they build these systems. Professional societies need to adapt these ethical standards to the modern ICT practices so that the IT specialist can defend the public welfare programs. Now move on the next slide. So the next, uh, in this slide we are gonna discuss the ethical decision points in the ICT. So that building on that, let's explore some emerging ethical concerns in the ICT, particularly in the areas like biometric and AI, where the implications are increasingly too much complex. So the IT system contains unidentified actors responsible for making ethical decisions. Then the implementation of the privacy by the design together with access authorizations and the secret mesh data flows and the algorithm independent auditing forms the key points. The mainly the ICT professionals need to take more prominent ethical positions in the areas this mentioned here, so that the ICT industry has traditionally needed deontology and the ethical system, although virtual ethics becomes increasingly more important to us. Then the base of the virtual ethics supports personal integrity alongside of essential qualifiers that define the aspirant self-image of the whistleblowers, where the ICT professionals must take the ethical responsibility for individuals' action because this influence grows in society, making trust and accountability significant to the nature. Now we can move on the next slide. In this slide, we are gonna say that why ethics and trust matters in this ICT. So furthermore, we will examine the key decision points in ICT where ethical responsibility can become ambiguous, especially in context evolving privacy, data flows, machine learning audits. So we can say that professionally, like political legitimacy along with institutional reputation crumbles in the situations where data processing becomes automated and the data is utilized from the remote sources. Throughout this, their actions, both Sweden and Wales, showed how single individuals maintain public interest to their ethical conduct. So the members based decision on their own moral principles while disregarding organizational standards, so that the IT professional require immediate support that includes ethical frameworks together with protective measures for the ethical actions. Now we're gonna say that the deployment process guarantees that new systems will deliver functions which upholds the public trust, that an organizational culture that puts ethical ICT practices first helps the build capable institution which protect their citizens while maintaining the system's whole integrity. Now we can move on the next slide. On the lastly, let's discuss why fostering trust in ICT system is essential, not only for successful deployment, but also for the maintaining public confidence in the digital governance. Governments rely on the ICT systems for the trust mediation, while this trust faces growing challenges. For whom? Let's discuss. The public trust in the government institution is currently decreasing, where the UK government developed AI ethical governance rules through the procedures that exist basic data protection that requires the initiative must become expanded because they will protect the government creditably because which remains the vital for the delivering effective citizen services during the digital area.
Hello, team. Greeting of the day. My name is Arpan Kumar Dobaria, and I'm going to discuss today about the importance of the trust for ICT and democracy. So let me start with the first. Democracy will face challenges without public trust in governmental institution and information. and communication technology structures. And the Australian citizens shows significant trust decline for a percentage drop from 78% to 41 in public opinion poll. Just because of the political institution will lose the trust of less than 10% of Australians by 2025. On the other hand, consecutive trust level decline pandemic depended greatly on government trust level by the public. And the last, the discriminations effect of ICT on citizen government communications require immediate trust restorations to substitute the commune bond as well as effective governance on both the domestic and international level. Next slide is about the role of professional computer societies. The ACS and IEE, together with other professional computer societies, have a crucial role to address ethical situations and matters that arise throughout the ICT field in 2022. On the other hand, this professional organization need to transition from basic ethical code to direct active participations when facing modern technological transformations. And hence, the need for powerful ethical frameworks become more crucial because automated systems alongside IT and data management have increasing significance. Hence, fast emerging companies and technology requires professional societies immediately provide a number of empowerment and the support system for ethical decision making. Next. Data privacy and ethical support for IT professionals. So in this slide, privacy concerns regarding data in private sector operations require IT professionals to receive better support from their professional organization. Therefore, the Australian government makes steady advancement regarding data management. So therefore, the IT sector requires an active whistleblowing support systems that does not exist yet. So for many IT professionals find themselves without support when faced with ethical dilemmas, especially regarding data anonymizations and personal information security. So sometimes professional association need to address emerging ethical risk in technological based environment while developing resources that let their members handle complex situations occurring in modern technological systems. In the last conclusion, so I can conclude that the climate surveillance together with social network data assortment for COVID-19 tracking activities have generated substantial ethical discourse among professionals. So therefore, the expert within this field insist on implementing transparency while implementing ethical enhancement to construct public confidence in the governmental programs. So on the other hand, the widespread integrations of ICT requires people to trust the operations and of both for governmental authorities and information and communication technology systems. Therefore, the current level of trust is highly vulnerable to privacy related issues, as we all know that. So professional societies can construct, preserve, and construct trust between professionals and the publics through their efforts to maintain a transparency and establish ethical guidelines. So that's it. Thank you, team, and have a nice day.